Now, why do you think 60 Minutes? You know, 60 Minutes spent 8 minutes on you last Sunday night. You know, they have this new book out that they were interviewing the authors and stuff like that. And there's a lot of, you know, stuff in the book about McCain, about Biden, Edwards. But it was 8 minutes about you.
Anything about Obama?
A little bit, but not a lot. Not a lot, you know? But Obama's been on that show. He was on, like, he's one of the co-contributors. I'm Steve Cross. I'm Barack Obama. He's on, like, every week. Right. Okay. I want to run you 2 clips from that show and have you react. The first one is from one of the authors of the book Game Change, John Heilman. Roll the tape.
She still didn't really understand why there was a North Korea and a South Korea. She was still regularly saying that Saddam Hussein had been behind 9/11. And literally the next day, her son was about to ship off to Iraq. And when they asked her who her son was going to fight, she couldn't explain that.
It's pretty nasty, isn't it?
Well, it's pretty made up, too. I think that these reporters who were not in any part of what I was doing there as a VP candidate, I think that I explained a lot of this in Going Rogue in my book. I was there, they were not there.
Is this guy lying? He says you don't know the difference between North and South Korea?
Yeah, that surprised me. I hadn't seen the 60 Minutes thing. I had been warned, you know, don't watch. It is a bunch of BS from Schmidt.
Is that a lie,
from some
though?
of his guys. Yeah, that is a lie.
Okay.
That is a lie.
Was it a lie that you thought Saddam Hussein was behind 9/11?
You know what? On that, I did talk a lot to Steve Schmidt about the history of the war and about where perhaps the 9/11 terrorists came from and could there have been any connection to Saddam.
Okay,
so I admit that I asked
questions
about it.
But you weren't blaming 9/11 on Saddam Hussein.
No,
okay.
no. And yeah, so
and the shipping out of your son to Iraq, you didn't know why. That's a lie.
See, these reporters were not there, and I think that these are the political establishment reporters who love to gin up controversy and spin up gossip. The rest of America doesn't care about that kind of crap.
I agree with you.
The rest of America, we are concerned about a 10% unemployment rate, a 17.3% underemployment rate.
What's true and what isn't.
Well, they
do.
They need to read my book.
And when this guy said Sarah Palin didn't know the difference between North and South Korea, I went, that can't be true.
Maybe these are the same guys, though, who are saying that, you know, some of the other tinfoil hat controversy and
look, this guy is a writer for New York Magazine. It's a left-wing magazine.
I don't know who they are.
Okay.
I don't think that I've ever met these guys. They didn't interview me for the book.
Now, Steve Schmidt, not your best friend. He was a big shot in the McCain campaign. He also was interviewed in the 60-minute piece. Roll the tape.
The authors say she hit bottom trying to prepare for her vice presidential debate. The person in charge of her debate prep made a desperate call to Steve Schmidt.
He told us that the debate was going to be a debacle of historic and epic proportions. He told us she was not focused, she was not engaged, she was really not participating in the prep.
Now, to be fair, Schmidt later on said that McCain would have lost bigger had you not been on the ticket. However, he's obviously saying that you were in chaos preparing for this debate. Is that true?
That is not true. And Steve Schmidt told us how overjoyed he was after the debate, so pleased with the way everything turned out, as he was after the convention speech.
Was there a time when you almost felt overwhelmed, though?
No, I always felt pretty calm through the whole experience.
So is Schmidt lying or somebody lying to him?
I think he's basing this on an anonymous source. So all that kind of gossipy, anonymous accusations, I really don't pay it any mind because, again, Bill, I know what's important. I know what the priorities are.
I know that, but you know, Governor, the perception of you is that you're not that smart. That's what Saturday Night Live trafficked in. That's what the liberal media traffics in. You heard Chris Matthews go, she doesn't know anything. That's why I want to clear this up. That's why I'm asking you these questions. Because the audience, I believe, the Factor audience, likes you. They want you to be treated fairly. So I have to ask questions is that a lie? And now, I think the proof is in the proverbial pudding, to use a cliche. You did very well against Biden in that debate, although you did call him Biden at one point.
I did, but I think the analysis after the debate was a surprise that Biden had more gaffes, had more mistakes made in the campaign. You held your own with him. I felt good about it. Steve Schmidt felt great about it. So these new revelations of the chaos or the frustration are alarming. Quite irrelevant, though, to what is important in this world today.
I got your point, but it isn't irrelevant to this way. You now have a forum here at Fox News, okay, that you can immediately neutralize 60 Minutes, like that.
And the American people are immediately neutralizing outlets like 60 Minutes.
But they want to hear from you about it, though.
Right.
They want to hear from you.
But more and more Americans are looking at some of these networks, that biased journalism, and they're saying, nah, that gig's up. We're not believing that stuff anymore. And that's why they're tuning into Fox
I like 60
News.
Minutes. I think they're honorable people.